Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Morning Coffees with James. I'm James, and this show you're watching on YouTube, BitChute, and Rumble, if I can get it on there, is my morning coffee show. And how are you all doing today? I hope you're all doing swell, because today is the 13th of September. And yes, I gotta tell my 9/11 story, because honestly, it's a story that needs to be told because it's funny and also just kind of endearing, because I think it's kind of funny in a sense because it's, a tragedy that happened, but I have a funny story to tell about it because it's just the way this is why you shouldn't be trusting government to begin with, or trusting any kind of authority that doesn't help you whatsoever. Razorfist has a great video about that, about a Korean boat that sank, and they told everybody to stay put, even though the boat was sinking and people were going to get killed. So, what are we talking about today? Well, I want to talk about Rotten Tomatoes. Now, for those who don't know what Rotten Tomatoes is basically a review aggravator site. Basically, it takes all the different reviews and stuff like that, and basically shows you what all the critics think and what the audience thinks. And now, for the past couple of years now, Rotten Tomatoes has been kind of, let's just say, shady with the reviews. Like, some people love a movie, and then the critics love a movie and the audience hates a movie. And what came to light, which honestly I'm not surprised with, is that the reviewers that are on Rotten Tomatoes that do reviews and stuff like that have been bought and sold by most of these major film companies that are making woke garbage. All the live action remakes, all the wokeness, all the SJW ESG nonsense movies that have been coming out. And it's quite obvious. They've been doing it for a while, and we've all been seeing it. Every time a critic shits on Super Mario Brothers, the audience loves it. For every time there's a woke version of The Little Mermaid, the audience hates it, but the critics love it. And you've been seeing a lot of that. I mean, take a look at a lot of movies back, from now to back then. You could see the critic score used to be like, okay, fair enough, and this and that. But now it's quite obvious, and it's been exposed, that they basically pay off reviewers. And here's how much money these reviewers get, because they're poor motherfuckers and nobody really cares about reviewers anymore. They get paid $50 a review from these people. Like, I thought they get paid thousands and thousands just to lie about how great a movie is, even though it's dog shit, and how woke it is, and how much propaganda is. Which, by the way, for those who don't know, propaganda is not there to persuade you. It's to basically blackpill you. That's what it's basically supposed to do. That's what blackpilling is. Excuse me, that's what propaganda is. It's basically blackpilling. It's supposed to basically tell you that you're alone, and if you think differently and you're the only one who has these thoughts, it's supposed to degrade you in a sense. It's supposed to demoralize you in all that glory. And I'll talk about, but that's not the point. The point I'm talking about is Rotten Tomatoes. And I'm not surprised that Rotten Tomatoes is doing this. And because honestly, it's been happening for a while. I mean, if you take a look at like a lot of reviews of these people's movies and stuff like that, they give one certain movie, and I'll look it up too. They will give one certain movie a good review, and then will give another better review to another movie that doesn't really deserve it. For example, I think they gave The Godfather like a 90, and they gave like another movie like an 80, like a 96. Like, and even though like The Godfather is like should deserve 100% fresh on Rotten Tomatoes, like it's just obvious that Rotten Tomatoes doesn't really have legit reviewers, and they're basically reviewing things that are, it's a reviewer aggregator site. And honestly, for the longest time, like my friend, like my old friend used to trust Rotten Tomatoes, and when we were movie guys, he used to just trust Rotten Tomatoes. And honestly, I stopped trusting Rotten Tomatoes after starting to listen to better reviewers. Let's see here. The Super Mario Brothers movie. It's oh yeah, 59% rotten. But let's really look. But they don't see it as fresh. So let's take a look at it on Rotten Tomatoes' website because let's check this out. Let's see. 59%. 59% rotten from the critic reviewers and 95% fresh from the audience's review. Well, something's amiss there. Let's see here. But let's take a look at the Little Mermaid. Let's see here. Oh, Invisible Beauty. A movie I haven't seen is 100% fresh. But let's take a look what the audience... I see why now. No audience score because no fucking audience has seen it yet. And it's a 2023 documentary, of course. It's possibly it looks very, 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 very well. Well, actually, it's also a documentary, so I could be wrong about that. Let's see. The Lego Movie got 96% fresh. Let's see. Now let's look up The Godfather because let's really look into this. Oh, first The Little Mermaid. Let's look at the Little Mermaid score. Little Mermaid, a more recent one that's come out in recent years. So let's take a look at the audience's score. Oh, well, actually the audience liked it, and the critics thought it was 67% fresh. Okay, I was wrong about that. I was wrong, maybe. All right, let's take a look at The Dark Knight. Let's take a look at The Dark Knight. Okay, that's a decent... Again, that came out before all this bullshit, but let's take a look at The Godfather. Father... What the fuck? We're not gonna review the new Godfather movie? I see that it's not there. The Godfather Saga. Fucking hate this shit. What the fuck? Okay. You know what? Never mind. Never mind. Apparently they didn't want you to review that movie anyhow. But it's always been... It's no secret that most of these reviews have been bought out, and most of them are kind of biased towards one particular movie in general. And it's kind of odd, too, because it's like, why would they give a movie that nobody cares for and likes major reviews, but shit on a movie that everybody loves and everybody wants to go see? And it's because they've been bought out and they're trying to push the movie as hard as they're trying to push the movie because they've been bought to push it. They're pushers, basically. That's what these reviewers are doing. They're pushing a movie, trying to get it sold to you majorly. Like, and it's not a big surprise anymore because you again, like I said before, they've been doing it ever since. And you could say, like, oh, well, these critics are just, highfalutin and they're just, snobbish, elitist. And you can be right about that. And I think everybody should be right about that because, let's be honest, they're right. They're absolutely right when they, they're absolutely right that, to do that nonsense. And honestly, it's kind of funny that they sold themselves out for $50 because it's like, really, like, come on, like, and again, it just shows you how pathetic critics are, and also not to trust reviewers. Like, my thing is that find a good reviewer and just have them, and just listen to what they say. If you agree with what they say, fine. You can disagree, but I say go watch the movie for yourself and kind of build your own review. If you got, like, say, 5 reviewers who say the movie's good, go, collect some data on it. Go do some research. But nobody does reviews anymore, and that's the problem. And considering we now live in current year, most movies are now propaganda, pushing an agenda, a message, and all this shit. And again, it's easier to buy critics and buy people out to push your movie. Why bother advertising it if nobody's going to see it? People are going to, there's going to be that one critic who's just going to destroy it. And then you can give me the, some critics are right about one thing and that thing, and it's like, yeah, most critics, and here's the thing about critics. I've been to film school, and most of those people in film school are just, love the smell of their own farts and just are just too in love with the artistic side, and they get too lost in that. They're very liberal, and they just kind of ruin the like magic of filmmaking, because, hey, well, again, it's the old saying, you know. It's the old joke of, you know, the writer put the, you know, the curtains are blue, and the teacher gives an example why the curtains are blue, and, you know, it's, you know, the deep, dark blue meaning of why this man is wearing blue, and of the sadness, and it's like, the artist, I just like the color blue. Like, people don't get that. People don't understand that. Like, sometimes somebody puts something in a movie because they thought it was cool. And I don't understand why people get upset about that if that's the case. It's like, oh, well, it has no meaning in it, it's just very superficial, and it's like, I'm sorry, but movies are supposed to entertain us. Art's supposed to entertain as well as touch and provoke and think about things. You know what I mean? Like, we're supposed to be enjoying escapism, but we can't anymore. But I'll talk about that in another video, because I'll give you a clue what I'm going to be talking about. Pronouns! Fucking pronouns! I'm sorry, I thought that was pretty funny. Yes, there will be I might do a Starfield review. I might give my 2 cents on the game, because I have some things that I started doing it, but then I realized, like, I'm still playing the game, and I honestly did find a couple of glitches, and one of those glitches was that Sarah Morgan doesn't wear her spacesuit often, and I'm thinking to myself, is she just going out there? Like, is this a glitch that, oh, she doesn't wear a spacesuit? And I'm like, and it's tricking me not to wear a spacesuit? Because every time I do, I'm like, is the environment okay to breathe? Because it doesn't tell you, like, a simple yes or no would have been fine. Like, hey, can I take my helmet off? No. Okay. Can I take my helmet off here? Yes. Okay. But it doesn't. But, what was I going to say? Yeah, that's why I just don't trust Rotten Tomatoes. I mean, like, sometimes the reviews are just basically, like, biased, and you kind of see, like, are they, like, you can tell they're being bought out. Like, this was not obvious from the beginning. Like, they're pushing a lot of these woke movies to just kind of push an agenda and trying to, like, and again, they could also, you know, change the score, too. They could also just kind of adjust it to make it seem like the movie is as good as possible, and then you go see the movie and you realize, oh shit, it's just woke nonsense. That's why you gotta find some reviews on YouTube, even though you don't agree with what they say most of the time. If they say the movie's not that great and they give an example of why, I say that's good. I think that's good, just to find clues and, you know, hints and allegations about that. I think it's okay to just do your homework and look at that. And nobody does, and I think that's the issue. Nobody really looks at movie reviews anymore, and nobody really cares. And honestly, most movies and entertainment nowadays is just being ran by wokies who just, and again, not a generation of kids or certain generations, like, oh, these millennials and all this stuff, all these boomers, all this, and oh, it's Gen Z, and, you know, their generations ruin everything, stop ruining everything, you're all bad, your generation, enough. It's not about the generation, it's about the people from that generation. We've gotten the worst of the worst here. We don't have good boomers. It's not boomers that are a problem, it's bad boomers who are sucking the tit of the system. It's not bad millennials, or excuse me, let's put Gen X in there. Fuck Gen X. I'm sorry, we've been sucking Gen X's dick for a while. Fuck Gen X, you're fucking overly privileged motherfuckers. With that being said, even Gen X, I'm sorry, but fuck your generation of self-reliance nonsense. You guys sold out. You guys started out being cool as shit. Gen X, you got the coolest fucking generation name ever. Hell, when I heard the name Gen X, I was like, oh, that sounds cool. I want to be part of Gen X, X-Men and all that shit. And now I'm just like, fuck you. I'm part of Generation M. Mutants. No. But no, it's... You know, fuck Gen X and their bullshit. It's not the problem with Gen X either. It's some of the group of people in Gen X that were sending out the worst. It's not Generation M. You know, we're sending out the worst in Generation M. You know what I mean? It's like we're sending out, especially Generation. Well, all of them have certain levels of wokeness in them, including Generation Z. These people, it's people who are woke who are running the media. That's the problem. It's people who are woke or either greedy. And especially, I mean, take a look at the Saints Row game and Starfield. It's people who are woke. It's people who are like, yeah, we're gonna make it something cool. Oh, we're gonna put some woke stuff in there. And I'll talk about the Saints Row thing too, because I'm honestly, I'm taking it back from being angry at Volition and putting it into Deep Silver, but I'll explain that in just a moment. Actually, no, I'll explain it quick. Apparently, Deep Silver was the ones who wanted the game to be more woke and for a current audience, which means just make it woke as shit. And also BlackRock and ESG nonsense and Anita Scarsese, that fucking con artist bitch, ruined that game. And also they're ruining Starfield too, which honestly I'll talk about censorship and Nexus mods in just a moment. But the thing that bothers me, the thing that absolutely bothers me though about this whole nonsense is the fact that you have a group, a generation of, you know, you have the group of people from different generations making woke shit, and that's all they know. They know nothing else, and because they're boring. And yeah, I'll watch the Starfield rant from Heels versus Babyface. That's what they are. That's what they are. They're absolutely fucking boring, and it's obviously like that generation of bad writers are just ruining everything. So my suggestion to you is basically do your own review research. Look up different people talking points about this stuff. If everybody has the same conclusion about the game, then fine. But that's all I gotta say about that. And if they do, then fine, play it. If they don't play it. You know, look at reviews and make your own decision. Make your own decision too, and also support the Iron Age of entertainment too. I'm gonna start. Hell, I'm working on stuff too. Is it gonna be made immediately? No, but I'm working on it, and I think we need to rebuild pop culture. We need to rebuild our, not just pop culture, culture in general. We need to rebuild it. We need to just say, you know what, fuck you, I'm not going to listen to what you're going to be fucking saying. You people are cancer, you don't care about the culture, you care about pushing your own shitty agenda. That's all I got to say. Take care, love you, bye-bye, and remember to stay awesome, peace be with you, and support the Iron Age.